Good evening, guys, and happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces. Guys, I actually did not get up super early this morning. Jack woke me up this morning though, because he was like, oh, he had to walk to school today for his first day of school. I think I was telling you guys that yesterday. I felt bad for him that he had to walk to school today, but it was actually only a half day, so then I think he had to walk home from school too today. So anyways though, because again it was a half, like they were only there for a half day, but then he had to go back to football practice, which luckily my dad was home for in time. If not, he might have had to walk back to football practice back to the high school. So no, that didn't end up happening though, but tomorrow's his first full day of school, so my mom should be able to take him to that, but I told you guys because she's working night shift, so she actually doesn't get home until about like 8 o'clock or so, and he normally has to leave before, I don't actually know when the first class starts, but he has to leave before like 8 o'clock in the morning. Like if he has to walk to school, he has to leave by about like 7:30 I think, or something like that, to be able to make it to school on time. But like I said, I want to say school actually starts like 8:15 or 8:30 or something like that, but again too, because my mom might not be home by that time still to be able to drive him, he'd still need to make sure that he actually walks to school, like to make sure that he's up early enough, or like can leave early enough and not waiting on her and then find out that she can't and then he'd still have to walk. So like I said, I want to say it's like 8:10 or 8:15 or something like that. At least that's how it used to be when I was in school. But guys, on top of that too, but Jack told me that they're implementing a new thing in the high school now this year, that they're going to have like a mandatory study hall. When I was in school, it was not mandatory. You could take study hall as a like extra class, not extra, but just, instead of like one of your like elective classes. And so you could pick, like, oh, I'd rather, instead of taking art class, I'd rather take a study hall. So again, you had to sort of pick that, which I always felt like was really dumb, because if you needed more help in school, or like you just wanted more time in school to sort of again work on homework, be able to have that time to like ask questions to teachers or email teachers or all that kind of stuff. Because honestly, trying to email a teacher after school hours and trying to have them get back to you before like the next day if you had a question on an assignment or something like that, it was always a pain to try and get a hold of them. Like if I had to, I would sometimes go to my class after school was over, because I knew that I'd be able to get, like, especially the teachers I knew wouldn't check their emails after school, or especially too like over the weekends. Like a lot of teachers were really bad about that. Like they wouldn't email you until like Sunday night, and they'd be like, yeah, that big project that you had due has to be, or essay that you have to write does need to be 3 pages long, or oh yeah, that is due on Monday or something like that. And you're like, great, you just emailed me on Sunday night and now I have to go and do this. So like I said, some of that kind of stuff was like a pain, so it was easier to try and email a teacher during like school hours, because I had a class actually where by the end of the year I was the only person still in the class. It was actually it was a sort of weird, our school website, I worked on the school website, and like doing updates to like the pages, like contact pages, all that kind of stuff, and it was like, it wasn't like a normal like elective class. You had to be like, your teacher had to like put you into that class if they thought like that you would do it. And honestly too, the one semester I did it, the first semester, there were like maybe 4 or 5 kids in the class, I think, or no, maybe there was only 3 of us actually, or 3 or 4, maybe 5, something like that. I think one of the kids wasn't actually even in the class, he just had like study hall that hour or something like that, and he always ended up just coming into the classroom, because it was easier for him to like work because it was quieter or something like that, or he was friends with somebody else that was in the class. So anyways, I honestly sort of I vaguely remember that. But anyway, by the second half of the semester, they had actually updated the school website. So they didn't need us to do really any of the stuff that they needed updating for or anything like that anymore. And so, and the other kids though that are in that class before had like taken other classes, like other electives or whatever. So they'd only planned on doing it for 1 semester. But then by the second semester, I was the only person I think still in the class at that time. So that's when I normally had actually time, because I normally didn't wind up having a lot of stuff to do in that class anyway, because like sometimes I might have like something super random to do. But the way that they used to have to update the school website, we'd have to do it on our computers in the classroom, and then we'd have to go into the library, into like the main like you know, the storage place where they kept all the computers that had like all of their files on it, into the library, into like this back room, like an AV room sort of thing, to like go in there to like update all of the stuff on like this one big computer with all the giant computers that were like running in there. And so you have to go in there then and update our the pages that like we would wind up changing. So again, if we were updating like contact information, whatever it was, we'd have to then go into that classroom and actually go and, you know, like I said, this little back room in the library, and go and update all of this information. And so like I said, I only ended up doing that though the second semester, in the first semester. But the second semester they weren't doing that anymore, and we didn't have to update it that way anymore. And I don't even think like we're doing updates anymore to the website at all. Like every once in a while, I think maybe they'd be like, oh, if you can just like look over the website and see if there's anything on there that like needs to be updated, then they'd have us like write it down or email it to them, and then they'd actually take it to like the like actual like not even teacher, I don't know, like, you know, like the computer tech people, and then have them update it. So like it was just me in the class at that time, so I wasn't even like doing anything almost at all in that class. So that's why, like I said, I normally ended up having like a study hall sort of period that year anyway. I had it for the first semester my senior year, and my second semester I didn't, but I had that class that we were almost never doing anything in. So that's when I normally ended up, again, like my teacher would always be like, oh, you can just email the teachers, do homework, whatever you need to do. So that's what I normally ended up doing. So, but it always ended up working out, because my teachers a lot of times would be able to check their emails. Again, they checked them before they left school, and then wouldn't check like at all while they were at home, and then they check them like the next morning. And again too, if it was like a question that was important for something that was during that day, or over that, you know, again, time at night or whatever, sometimes you get certain teachers that wouldn't end up responding. So like I said, I always found that it was better to actually have time during school hours to try and communicate with your teachers. So again though, a lot of kids never ended up taking study hall, and they didn't have that. So Jack said they have either half an hour or 20 minutes or something like that, where they're actually going to be having like a sort of mandatory like study hall sort of thing class. I don't know, something sort of along those lines. It's just, I think it's not completely like a free period, but something like that. Well, on Mondays though, Jack, they're not having that study hall class on Mondays, but they do get late starts every single Monday. For us, it used to always only be, I think it was the second Monday of the month or something like that, that we get it, because they'd have this big teacher-wide, like, you know, or school-wide, like, teacher meeting sort of thing, or they meet with like the department heads or whatever. So we'd always wind up getting a late start on Mondays, or that second Monday. So now they're doing it every Monday for Jack. So my mom is still going to be able to take him to school actually, because school I think for him doesn't start until 8:30 or 9 o'clock or something like that. I actually think it might be an hour later or something like that. Whereas though when we had late starts, we actually wouldn't start school until I think like 10 o'clock or something like that. So they're still starting somewhat earlier, but they get it every single Monday. Or Jack said, I think most Mondays, except for, you know, again, they don't get it quite as late as us, but they get it every Monday. Which is also weird though, because I almost want to say that they did that right before I was in high school. Because I remember my friend's older sister saying something like, haha, when we were in school, we got every Monday as a late start or something like that. And I'm almost wanting to say that, like I said, they ended up doing that every Monday. And I remember too, somebody that was like a much like older than me at the time, like maybe it was like a babysitter, a friend of a babysitter or something like that, like, you know, when I was like in elementary school, ended up saying something like that, like, oh, like, you know, when you're in high school, you get every Monday, you know, like you get like to sleep in late on Mondays. And like I remember hearing about that too. And then when I finally got to high school, I was like, we only do it like once a month. And then sometimes too, it'd be like a Monday where we had off anyway, so they didn't end up ever rescheduling it. Like if we had that Monday off, we just wouldn't get like a late start that month. So sometimes it was sort of dumb. So anyways, though, that's kind of a cool thing that, like I said, Jack sort of gets this year. Again, like a study hall slash off period sort of thing, and late starts every Monday. The thing was, Jack was super excited about this because he goes, now I can stay up really late and watch Sunday night football games and not feel super tired for staying up until 11 o'clock or midnight on a Sunday night and feeling so bad about having to get up so early on Monday mornings to go to school. He's like, because now I'll at least get to sleep in for like an extra hour or so. So yeah, anyways, that was sort of cool. But I think I was telling you guys, tomorrow I've got a like all day sort of errand thing that I have to run that is literally going to take me all day. So I don't know how much. It's like I'm gonna have to be up pretty much at the same time as Jack. Probably hopefully eat my breakfast and have my coffee, and then I have to leave, and I will pretty much be gone until most likely home before Jack and my dad get home from football practice, but not much earlier than that. So I'm pretty much gonna be almost in school all day tomorrow. Like it's almost the exact same hours as like Jack being in school. It's not bothering me too much about having to go. I just sort of wish that it wasn't like all day long. Like it's already, I have to wake up early, and on top of that too, it's like I have to wake up early, but I can't get anything done in the morning. Like I think that's what's sort of upsetting me a little bit, because when I'm like, when I'm up early, I get like, you know, can get most of my early things, you know, things done early in the morning, but I'm not even gonna really have time to do any of that. So like I'm gonna have to go to bed early tonight, I have to wake up early, and then still like there'll be a lot of things that I can't get done tomorrow. Like I can't do dishes, I can't do laundry, I can't edit and upload and all that kind of stuff, the things I normally get done in the morning time. I'm not gonna be able to get to any of that. I'm gonna have to wait to do that until like either the afternoon, or again too, like who knows how pooped I'm gonna be by the end of the day. Like, I might just have to try and get all that stuff caught up with on Wednesday. But I was able to, like, stay on top of everything, though, too, over the weekend. And I got all caught up with dishes and laundry today. So, like, at least just having one day where I'm not going to be able to get to anything, I guess, isn't horrible. But, again, you know, it's just sometimes things like that come up. You don't have time to sort of, again, get all those things done that you need to. Like, again, too, like dishes and laundry and stuff like that, and, you know, all of those things are just things that I have to sort of stay up to date with and on top of every single day. And again, too, when I come home, I'm probably not going to want to do any of it. So, you know, like I said, I don't know when I'm going to find the time to be able to, or on top of that, the energy to then do it afterwards. Like, there's nothing more that I can do right now. It's like all the dishes that wind up getting dirtied from, you know, that were dirtied from today, that I have to unload the dishwasher and load up the dishwasher, which I did start doing actually today, but like I ran the dishwasher, so now I have to unload all the dishes. Normally I do that in the morning, because also too, it helps the dishes air dry better, so I'm not putting away wet dishes, and I don't have to hand dry them, because dishwasher doesn't work so well at drying the dishes still. Like I still sometimes have to dry some of the stuff by hand, but normally if I let it sit overnight, then everything dries anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. I did get some of that done actually today. So anyways, I will see you guys though all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.